All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the swearing-in ceremony for the 2024-2028 Municipal Council. My name is Chris Fraught, and I'm the Chief Administrative Officer of the municipality. And as this is the first meeting of the newly elected council, I will be acting as chair until the warden is elected. I'd first like to invite you all to rise, if you're able, to join me in a moment of silence. Thank you very much. So now we'll move on to the official declaration of election and roll call, and that will be done by our municipal clerk, Debbie Mader. Mike.
I'm good. As required by Section 129 of the Municipal Elections Act, I, Debbie Mader, clerk for the municipality of the District of Barrington, do officially declare elected the following members of Municipal Council for a 4-year term as a result of the elections held Saturday, October 19th, 2024. Polling District Number 1, George L. Jackal. Polling District Number 2, Amy McKinnon. Polling District Number 3, Sean Hatfield. Polling District Number 4, Lindsay Eddie Nickerson. Polling District Number 5, Cynthia Bazinet. Congratulations to the newly elected council of the municipality of the District of Barrington. All councillors representing all districts of the municipality are present.
Thank you very much, Debbie. So now we're going to move on to the swearing in of each member of council by having them take their oath of allegiance and of office. We're going to do that individually, one by one, in the order of their districts, and that the oaths will be administered by Debbie Mader, our municipal clerk. So as I mentioned, we're going to be going in the order of districts. So we're going to start with Councillor George L. Jackal. Make sure the mic is...
I, George L. Jackal, do swear that I will be faithful and adhere through allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, his heirs and successors according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the municipality of District of Barrington. And I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duty of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise and partially or other undue execution of the duty of my office.
Thank you very much, Councillor L. Jackal. Next, we will move to District 2, which is Councillor Amy McKinnon.
I, Amy McKinnon, do solemnly affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, his heirs and successors according to law, and that I only, I'm sorry. Oh, age. And that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the municipality of the District of Barrington, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Thank you very much, Amy. Councillor McKinnon. Next, we move on to District 3, Councillor Sean Hatfield. I'm making you go.
I, Sean Hatfield, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, his heirs and successors according to law, and that I am duly qualified and required by law for the office of Councillor of the Municipality of the District of Barrington, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office, and I so promise.
Thank you, Councillor Hatfield. Next, we'll move on to District 4, Councillor Eddie Nickerson.
I, Lindsay Eddie Nickerson, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, his heirs, successors, according to law, and that I'm duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the Municipality of District of Barrington, and that I will truly, faithfully, impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Thank you, Councillor Nickerson. Next and last but not least, we will move on to District 5, Councillor Cynthia Bazinet.
I, Cynthia Bazinet, do solemnly affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, his heirs and successors according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the Municipality of the District of Barrington, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Pull it out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bazinet. And thank you, Debbie, for running around the room. Now we will move on to the election of the warden. But before we begin, I will go through the process that we will follow. So first, I'll call for nominations, and all nominations and seconding shall be made openly and publicly by announcing the nomination or seconding of a candidate when called upon. Once the nomination is made, I will ask if there is a seconder for the nomination. Any member except the nominator and the candidate may second a nomination. Failure to obtain a seconder shall result in the nominee's name not being included on the list of candidates to be voted upon. Each nominee will be asked if he or she consents to being nominated. If the nominee declines to give consent, the nominee's name shall not be included on the list of candidates to be voted upon. I will repeatedly call for additional nominations until, after calling 3 successive times without a successful nomination, I will announce the nominations are closed. If there is only one candidate, I will call for a motion to elect the warden, and the candidate shall be elected warden if the motion passes by majority vote. If there's more than one candidate to be voted upon, we will hold a secret ballot election. Finally, following the election or the motion, the warden will take an oath of allegiance and of office and will assume the duties of the chair. Then I'll be off the hook. Is that clear to all of the members of council on the process we will follow? Perfect. So let's begin. I wish to open nominations to the floor. Is there a nomination for the position of warden? Councillor Nickerson.
I'll nominate Councillor George L. Jackal.
So Councillor Nickerson nominates Councillor L. Jackal. Is there a seconder for that nomination? Second. Councillor Bazinet seconds it. Councillor Jackal, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Okay. So Councillor George L. Jackal is now a member who is on the list to be voted upon. Are there any other nominations from the floor for the position of warden? Councillor Bazinet.
I nominate Sean Hatfield for the position of warden.
Councillor Sean Hatfield has been nominated by Councillor Cynthia Bazinet. Is there a seconder for that nomination? Councillor Amy McKinnon. Oh, there you go.
I second that nomination.
Councillor McKinnon seconds it. Councillor Hatfield, do you accept the nomination? Oh, sorry. There you go.
I accept the nomination.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So Councillor Hatfield is now also on the list of members to be voted upon for the position of warden. Are there any other nominations from the floor for the position of warden? Are there any other nominations from the floor for the position of warden? And one more time, are there any other nominations from the floor for the position of warden? Hearing none, I now declare the nomination closed. As there are 2 candidates for the position of warden, we have prepared ballots that we will place on the table over there. But before the voting occurs, I would ask that a motion be made to appoint Debbie, our municipal clerk, as the scrutineer to assist me with verifying the vote. Councillor Nickerson.
I so move.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Nickerson. Is there a seconder for that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Seconded by Councillor L. Jackal. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you very much. So we will now move on to the election. And I remind you that Councillor George L. Jackal and Councillor Sean Hatfield are both members that are on the list of candidates for the position of warden. We're going to ask that each member, one at a time and in order of districts, go forward towards the voting shield and write the name of the candidate on the piece of paper in front of them, and then afterwards fold it and place it in the box in front of the voting shield. A candidate can vote for himself. You can vote for yourself, either George or Sean. Just to be clear. Afterwards, after each member votes, the ballots will be collected, or the box will be collected, and the votes will be counted in a room behind us to preserve the confidentiality of each member's ballot. That'll be done by Debbie and I. If a majority has voted for any one candidate, which there are 5, so that should happen, I will announce the name of the warden so elected, but I will not announce the number of votes obtained by any candidate. Ballots will then be destroyed immediately following the meeting. Is that clear to all of the members of council before we move on? Excellent. So Debbie has put the ballots. Perfect. And we'll start the election process, and I will ask Councillor El Jackal to move forward to the voting shield to vote. Thank you. Did you place it in the box, George? Okay, perfect. Just making sure. Next up is Councillor Amy McKinnon. Excellent, thank you. And next we have Councillor Sean Hatfield. Yes. Yep. Thank you. And next we have Councillor Eddie Nickerson. Thank you. And finally, Councillor Cynthia Bazinet. Thank you. So all members of council have now voted, correct? Excellent. So Debbie and I will now collect the ballots, go vote them in the room behind us. Shouldn't take us too long, and we will be back. Thank you for your patience. Hopefully that wasn't too long. So following the counting of the votes, Councillor Sean Hatfield has been elected warden. Warden Hatfield will now take the oath of allegiance and of office of the warden.
Faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, his heirs and successors according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Warden of the Municipality of the District of Barrington, and that I will truly and faithfully and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office, and I so promise.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Warden Hatfield. And I will now pass over the duties of chair to you.
It's good to get guidance from a previous warden. Thank you for your service, Mr. Warden, and thank you for letting your name stand, Councillor Al Jekyll, in the bid for warden as well. I talked to Kristen, I appreciate, before we move on to the election of deputy warden, I appreciate the opportunity that's been given to me to share my heart with all of you. I must say that I do feel vulnerable sitting in this seat. I'm vulnerable because I realize that this seat, above all, is a seat of responsibility and service to you, the people of the municipality of Barrington. I'm reminded in a moment like this that none of us get elected for self-aggrandizement or to expand our own egos or to gain power, but to serve human need, to build community, and to care deeply for all people around us. So in this sense, I just got elected to what I consider to be the lowest seat, really, in the municipality of Barrington. Warden constitutes the lowest seat because above this seat are the needs of council and municipal staff, and even higher yet above this seat are the needs and hopes of our citizens and families who share this great place that we all live and work and play. Just as our community has been fashioned by the sea, so this council must always be shaped and fashioned by the very needs of its citizens. And so in this office, I feel a deep sense of responsibility to all of you and to a kind of service which touches real community needs. And I am encouraged when I look around this table tonight to see sitting here with me some incredibly experienced people. Those who I trust will work together in unity to continue growing and building our community in ways which promote health and uphold the dignity and the equality of all people. In fact, at this table tonight, there are two men who have both sat in this seat as warden. For over a decade and a half, I've learned from both of them, and I now invite them to help me in this position as I continue to learn and grow into what it means to live out the duties of warden. When I look further around this table, I also see two incredibly gifted women. We can never have too many women in leadership, and both of these women possess profound life experience. They have keen intellects and such strong social and community values. They each have incredible expertise in the area of public service. Amy and Cynthia, we are all so glad that you are here to enrich, to enliven, and to offer so much to this circle of public service. Last but not least is our municipal staff. I think we have one of the greatest staff teams that you would find anywhere in the province of Nova Scotia. We have a CAO, Chris Fraughton, who exemplifies stellar leadership qualities. Chris possesses such deep humility, such incredible people skills, such a servant heart, and he carries wisdom way beyond his years. We are very lucky to have you, Chris. And Debbie, it's great to have you here with us. I'm amazed at the ease and skill with which you have so capably ascended into the position of municipal clerk. Thank you for making sense out of all of our discussions and motions and for fashioning them into coherent sentences within our recorded minutes. This might be a good opportunity, too, to recognize the 39 years of service of Lisa Rossetti to this municipality, and also to recognize the service that's been offered by Councillor Crook and Mood Nickerson. My deep desire for both council and staff going forward is that we will all work toward the best outcomes for our community and for the greatest good of our citizens. The human values I seek to emulate in the role of warden are vulnerability, openness, transparency, sincerity, inclusion, fairness, humility, unity, and a compassion for all people. And so if at any time, any of you ever see me carrying this office in a manner which marginalizes, manipulates, excludes, or denigrates, or shows partiality toward anyone, then I invite you to call me out publicly for such misrepresentations of this office. In closing, as your new warden, I promise you two things. The first thing I promise you is that I will let you down because I'm a human being. But the second thing I promise is that I will try with all my heart, all my strength, and all my mind to do my very best to make this seat and council's initiatives entirely about caring for you and putting our community needs above all else. I wish to close with the words of the greatest teacher or leader that I've ever been privileged to know. He said, "Whoever wants to become an authentic somebody must be willing to live like a nobody with a passionate aim to serve everybody." His exact words were, "Whoever wants to become the greatest must become the least and the servant of all." May we, as your new council, be willing to roll up our sleeves and head to the lowest and deepest places of service in order to lift up each person around us and to elevate our community to its highest and greatest potential. Stretched out before us tonight is an ocean of opportunity wherein we have been given the privilege to share the same boat, to work on the same deck, and to share the same cud, and together to become highliners for our community. May our council this term
see the gunnels of our municipal ship overflowing with valuable catches, with big landings, and with a bountiful harvest of undertakings and projects which will enhance the quality and health of this community that we are all so very privileged and proud to call home. Thank you very much. I'm already lost and don't know what I'm doing. Councillor Al-Jekyll, would you mind handing my bottle of water down to me? Thank you. It's good to have people around you that are willing to consider your needs, isn't it? At this time, we move on to the election of a deputy warden, and we will now conduct that election. We'll follow the same process used for the election of warden. I now wish to open nominations to the floor, and so I'll start by asking, is there a nomination for the position of deputy warden? Councillor Nickerson. This one, okay, go ahead.
That's it, yeah. I'll nominate Councillor Cindy Bazinet.
Okay, we have a nomination for
Sorry, Cynthia Bazinet.
Cynthia Bazinet, and do we have a seconder for this nomination?
I'll second that motion.
Seconded by Councillor Al-Jekyll. Do you accept the nomination for deputy warden, Cynthia Bazinet? I'll catch on after a while.
I do. Thank you.
You bet. Are there any other nominations for deputy warden? And I'm told that I can also nominate someone for deputy warden, so I would like to nominate Amy McKinnon. Do we have a seconder for that nomination? Seconded by Cynthia Bazinet. Do you accept the nomination for deputy warden, Councillor McKinnon? Go ahead. Do you accept the nomination for deputy warden?
I accept the nomination.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other nominations for deputy warden? Are there any other nominations for deputy warden? Third and final time, are there any other nominations for deputy warden? Hearing none, we will enter into the same voting process that we followed before for the office of deputy warden. And so the two names on the ballot are on that have offered. The two people who have offered for deputy warden is Cynthia Bazinet and Amy McKinnon. And so we'll go by districts as we did before. And I will ask to start with the District 1, Councillor George Al-Jekyll. Amy McKinnon, District 2, will vote. And I guess I'll go vote now in order of District 3. And now District 4, Councillor Nickerson. It's going to take me a long time to get used to not calling Eddie Warden because I've been in this seat most of the time that I've been here. He has been my warden, so be patient with me. And at this time, Cynthia Bazinet will vote from District 5. And at this time, municipal staff, our CAO and clerk will collect the ballots and count them. If it's determined that a majority has voted for any one candidate, then I will announce the name of the deputy warden so elected, but I will not announce the number of votes obtained by any candidate. Ballots will then be destroyed immediately following the meeting. This time I will announce that Cynthia Bazinet has been elected to the office of Deputy Warden for the Municipality of Brampton. Congratulations. And I think that concludes our business. No, actually, I'm so sorry. She needs to be sworn in. Just a small detail that I've overlooked of many more. I promised you that I would disappoint you. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I, Cynthia Bazinet, do solemnly affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, his heirs and successors according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Deputy Warden of the Municipality of the District of Barrington, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
And so at this time, I will afford an opportunity in case any of the councillors around the table just want to keep it brief and say anything. I know this is the first opportunity to say anything. If anybody does have anything to say, it's not obligatory, but I wanted to give that opportunity. Everybody's good? I want to also acknowledge that we have a former warden in the room as well, and Stephen Stoddard. It's good to have you here, Steve, tonight. I know that you've always been interested in municipal affairs. Steve has also been a past president of the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities, I believe, and so he has dedicated a lot of service to this community and to our province in the matter of municipal affairs. We're really glad that you're here tonight, Steve. And, yep. And finally, I want to thank all of you for coming and celebrating these moments with us. Governance is ultimately all about you, and this council exists by you. It exists for you. And if at any time you feel that we are skating in the bleachers, that we're not fulfilling that aim of serving our community, then you have ways to demonstrate that. They call them elections, but you don't have to wait till an election before you can give us our feedback, your feedback on our service to our community. Thank you all for coming, and God bless.